Once upon a time in the heart of a shining kingdom called Everlight ruled King Jonathan and Queen Isabella. They were known everywhere for their wisdom and kindness. The king and queen had 7 daughters, and by magic each daughter had a twin brother. Every pair of twins looked alike and each child had a special gift. As the years passed, King Jonathan began to believe that only sons could rule the kingdom. He slowly became distant from his daughters and ignored their feelings. Queen Isabella tried to remind him that all their children were precious. But the king did not listen. One day he ordered the princesses to be kept inside the palace while their twin brothers were brought before him. Queen Isabella stood far away watching with tears in her eyes. The young princesses felt afraid and kept looking toward their mother for comfort. Suddenly dark clouds filled the sky and a powerful sorceress named Morgana appeared in the palace courtyard. She had been an old rival of King Jonathan. She spoke with a strong voice and said that the king had once caused great suffering to her family and that he would now face the result of those actions. She declared that the daughters would remain in the kingdom but the sons would be taken away. Everyone watched in fear as Morgana lifted her magical staff. In a flash of bright light, the 7 princes changed into shining gemstones and their magic became trapped inside them. Morgana gathered the glowing stones into a bag and disappeared into the darkness. Sadness spread across the kingdom of Everlight. King Jonathan collapsed with grief, and from that day he could no longer walk. Many years passed. The princesses grew into strong young women, but they still felt the sadness of losing their brothers. Queen Isabella often looked toward the sky and wished for her sons to return. Each princess carried a special magical power which had once been shared with her twin brother. Nora held the power of light and could drive away darkness and reveal the truth. Marina held the power of water and could turn waves into shining pearls. Elena held the power of fire and her flames could melt even the strongest metal. Serafina held the power of wind and could guide powerful breezes and storms. Talia held the power of life and with a gentle touch she could make flowers bloom again. Evelyn held the power of time and could pause a moment or turn back a few seconds. Morena held the power of dreams and shadows and could see visions hidden from others. One day Nora, the eldest princess, asked her mother about the disappearance of the princes. Queen Isabella gently told the truth. She explained that Morgana had taken the princes long ago as a response to past wrongs. Nora gathered her sisters and spoke with courage. She said they were not only daughters but also the hope of their brothers and they would find a way to bring them home. Queen Isabella quietly revealed that Morgana lived deep in the northern forest behind a magical door that could only open for brave and kind hearts. The princesses began a long journey through the dark forest. They protected one another by using their powers together. Nora lit the path with bright light while Morena searched for clues through her dream visions. At last they reached a clearing where smoke rose from the ground. In the center stood a hidden wooden cabin. The door of the cabin was sealed with enchanted black stones that glowed with dangerous magic. The sisters stood together and joined their hands. They raised their powers as one. A golden line of light appeared across the door and slowly the magic seal faded away. From inside they could hear the sound of fire and bubbling liquid. Inside the cabin a large magical cauldron glowed with powerful energy. Above it hung 7 shining gemstones held by heavy chains. Dark magic filled the room and the walls looked burned by heat. The princesses moved forward carefully. Nora touched one gemstone and bright light flashed across the room which confused Morgana for a moment. Marina sent a wave of icy water toward the cauldron to calm the flames. Elena used her fire to melt the heavy chains. Serafina created a strong wind to keep the gems safe. Talia restored the ground beneath their feet. Evelyn paused time for a brief moment so everything stood still. Morgana lost her balance and fell into the glowing cauldron. A burst of magical light filled the cabin and bright energy spread everywhere. When the light faded, the 7 gemstones changed back into the young princes. The brothers and sisters rushed together with joy and embraced each other. Soon the whole family returned to the kingdom of Everlight. King Jonathan fell to his knees with tears in his eyes and asked his children for forgiveness. Nora smiled gently and said that love is the strongest magic and it always brings light even after the darkest times. From that day the kingdom of Everlight became brighter than ever before. Flowers filled the fields, sunlight warmed the land, and the 7 princesses and 7 princes ruled together with kindness, courage, and wisdom. The story of Everlight continued to shine as a symbol of hope and unity. Sparkles.